I must say, Roger, I am a bit dismayed to see this torture device again. Haven't we dug enough post holes for the week?
Oh, come on, Steve. The Boston digger. In fact, you worked it so hard, you hit so many rocks, you bent the blade over. So I got to grind it down sharp.
Well, the Boston digger. Any relation to the Boston strangler?
None whatsoever.
I was impressed. Now you say this is the choice of the professional.
The tool of the trade.
Roger and I dig post holes later in the show. Also, Tommy's around to show us proper floor sanding technique, and he's going to give me a lesson in proper caulking technique. Now remember, all of this starts with your questions, so send them in the form of a letter, a postcard, better still, an email to Ask This Old House.
Hey, Steve, you see my play knife around?
No, but you're looking in the right section. It's probably Prithui who grabbed it. Doing some floor sanding, Tom?
No, I was just trying out this board. This is a sample board, Steve. I got a letter from a viewer. His name is Mike from Claymont, Delaware. He writes, I was watching This Old House on a Saturday morning, and I saw a demonstration on a new floor sander that uses discs instead of a drum. It looks a lot easier to use. Are they really that much better than a drum sander?
Well, I remember the old drum sanders, Tom.
Well, they're a lot of work, Steve, and they're tricky. You can damage a floor real fast with them. It's simply a drum that you install a piece of sandpaper to.
Yeah, you need a PhD to put the sandpaper in right.
Well, if you don't put it in right, it'll rip, and it'll destroy the floor, too. Well, not only do you have to rent the drum sander, but you have to rent an edger, too, because these will not get tight to the wall. So, it's two products you got to rent. Now, you said you've done it before?
Yeah, I did my whole first house. It's been a while, but...
Let's get a look at your technique.
All right. Well, see?
Yeah.
If you make one little mistake, you gouge the floor.
It's a slight hesitation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're tricky. Well, this is the sander that Mike saw. If you look underneath, there's 4 discs, random orbital. They held on with Velcro.
So they're easy to change.
Well, yeah, and look at how close it gets to the edge, so you don't need an edger. They also sand a floor very flat, and it's non-directional. Let me bring it up here. Try that one out.
Just flip it on? Do I have to do anything special?
Flip it on. Just hold on.
Wow. That is pretty nice.
Nice and smooth, too.
It doesn't cut as fast, but boy, it cuts a lot smoother.
It doesn't ruin the floor.
Well, keep going. This is kind of fun. Great machine, Tom.
Well, they are new, Steve, so it may take a while before they show up in a rental center near you, but they'll be there.
All right, Roger. What's the order of the day?
Steve, we're going to be putting in a 24-foot fence in front of this potting shed. That's going to involve digging 4 holes, 8 foot on center.
How deep?
We're putting in a 4-foot fence out of the ground, so we want to have a hole 2 feet deep to support that post.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake, huh? It'll be a lot harder than you think.
Yeah. New England is full of rocks.
Yep.
Okay, I'm familiar with this tool.
Traditional clamshell digger. You literally drive it in the ground,
Yeah.
open it up, take away a little bit of soil, and repeat over and over.
Costs about $35 or so at the home center.
Yeah, definitely. You could rent it for maybe 10.
Yeah. Now, any professional tricks?
Yep. When you're driving this in the ground, do not drive it in with your hands like this, because what you're going to do is
Slam
scrape
your knuckles together.
Okay? Hold it like this, drive it in the ground, open it up, and you're good to go. You have done this before, huh?
I've done this before, Roger. Man, it's hard here. Ooh, there we hit a rock.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that's 2 feet, Roger.
You would, huh?
That's nice and down there.
How does that look? 10 inches, so you're not even halfway yet.
10 inches, 2 feet. What's the difference?
A big difference, Steve, a big difference. But I got a tool that's going to help you out. This is the next tool you're going to need to really do a good job digging a post hole. This is a crowbar.
This is a beautiful tool.
Great steel bar, little chisel end on it. This is a tool that you should have at least one of, if not 2. They
Absolutely.
always come in handy. Now, see the rock there?
That's
We've driven the rock out. We're also loosening all your soil.
all right, Roger. If you brought that out sooner, we'd be done with the job by now.
Well, Steve, I was trying to build a little character in you.
So go on, Roger. You're getting into it now.
Well, I think it's time to clean it out. Go ahead.
Now that is much better.
Hey, Steve, try this. If you have wet or muddy soil, sometimes it'll stick to your blades. After you jump, tap it on the rock. Cleans them off so you're not carrying the extra weight back into the hole.
Good tip, Roger. No problem with muddy soil today, however. All right, Roger. That has got to be 2 feet.
I don't know, Steve.
Get your tape in there, pal. 23.5 is close enough
No,
for me.
that's a little light, but we'll give you this one.
All right.
You
There's
only got-
got to be a better way to dig a post hole.
Well, you got 3 more to go. Let me show you something a little different. This one's called a Boston Digger, Steve. This one is a single handle with a blade. So when you're digging, you sink this blade into the ground, pull down on this handle, okay, lift up on the material, and deposit it. Now, the thing about this one here is you don't have to worry about slamming your hands together, but you can dig a much deeper hole with this one than you can with a clamshell.
Yeah, because with this one, by the time you get down to the bottom of the hole, you don't have enough
Room.
diameter of hole to spread this thing wide enough. The dirt just slips right out between the clams. So let's give that a shot.
That's why this is the choice of the professional fence guys. This is what they use.
You didn't tell me that, did you, Roger?
No, well, you're not a professional fence guy, are you?
For today, I will be.
You will.
First off, Roger, it's a lot heavier, which gives you much better penetration. I suppose that's good news and bad news because it drops easier, but it lifts harder.
How do you like that action, Steve?
I do like it. You know, this little clamshell that folds up like this really helps you clear the hole much faster than with the other one.
Yep.
How much are these things?
Steve, that's about $89.95 retail. You're going to have to look for it, though. It's not going to be on everyone's shelf.
Still, this is worth every penny, Roger.
Good stuff, huh? What do you think? You deep enough?
I think.
Let me check. All right, 24 exactly. I'll give you that one.
Well, as good as this thing works, Roger, if I had 100 holes to dig, I'd look for something faster. What do you got?
Come take a look.
Ah, now this is more like it, Roger.
Yeah.
You got a gas engine.
Driving a shaft up through here,
And
right down to the auger, and turn the auger. 100 holes.
You have been holding out on me, pal.
Let's see what it does in this soil, Steve.
Well, this is quite a machine, Roger. What does it rent for?
$80 a day, Steve.
Ooh, that ain't cheap.
Well, you said you wanted to dig 100 holes.
That's cheap. Let's get it going. Give it a shot, Roger. Hold on. Well, this is the way to dig holes, Roger, although I do think we hit a rock down there.
Well, Steve, we're still going to have to use it in combination with our iron bar, but it's done very well for us so far.
Well, Roger, that is the answer. Power.
A lot easier.
We just got to clean this one up. We're to depth.
4 done. We're ready to go. All set, Steve. Drop it in.
A little concrete in the bottom of that hole, Roger?
Not in this one, Steve. We got some really good free-draining gravel out of this hole that we're going to put back in and compact right around and give us a good, sturdy post.
So what's the problem with concrete?
Well, Steve, it'll trap water around the post and cause it to age prematurely and rot. Now, if you couldn't get a full depth hole, you hit a big rock, then you would probably have to use concrete as a last resort. Let's take and pack that down. Now, the key is to plumb it as you're compacting it. You don't get a chance to go back and straighten it. Okay, let's throw some more around.
Almost there, Roger. Not bad, Roger. Not bad.
Only 3 more to go.
I think we should get some coffee first.
I can go for that.
I love it when Richard is not here. He will never miss a fitting or two. Now, the reason Richard is not here is that he's in Pittsburgh, the Steel City. And the reason he's in Pittsburgh is because of corrosion, public enemy number 1.
wish they had not ripped down Three River Stadium. I'm all turned around in Pittsburgh. I don't know where I am. But in this place, they put in 2 beautiful stadiums. And today, the Pirates are playing the Astros. Maybe I can get a ticket. We're here in Allegheny West, this great neighborhood. And look at that gem. This is our subject house, 942. And that's our homeowner, Chris Bladen. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Rich.
Richard Trethewey, asked this old house.
Welcome to Allegheny West. It's a great
Glad to be
neighborhood
here.
here. Pleasure having you.
How long have you been here?
Just over a year and a half now.
Right. Have you had much work to do?
Lots of work. Lots of work inside and outside.
Right, what'd you do out here?
Well, outside, just show you quickly here, we worked on these windows.
They're beautiful. Nice
What we
job.
did, we took away the old storm windows, which traditionally are on the outside. It exposed the arch. You can see that. This is all the original wood.
Brings them to life, and I love the colors.
That's my wife. She's an artist and the color coordinator, and she did a great job picking the colors.
She picks it, you paint it.
That's right.
Yeah. Front door looks like it's had some work.
Front door was in bad shape. Glass broken. Some missing pieces of trim. Had those redone. Put a new transom in. Painted it, obviously, and I think you can see the result.
Just great. Now, everywhere I look in this neighborhood, it seems like people have fixed up the houses.
Yeah, in the late 1800s, it was in its heyday, right up to the end of the First War. Then it started to go downhill, became tenement properties. And in the 60s, people started to realize what gems these were. And they came back, picked them up, started bringing them into single-family homes and renovating them with as much love as we do.
How about inside?
Oh, lots for you to see. Come on in.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. Oh, here's Linda. Come to meet us.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Richard.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to see you. I hear you're the artist?
Yes, I am.
I love all your color choices so
Thank
far.
you.
Is this some of your work here?
It's a work in progress. It's my daughter Maria.
Boy, you really captured the eyes beautifully.
Thank you.
And tell me about this room. What do you have to do here?
Well, actually, we put in new ceilings, cleaned up the walls so Linda could paint them. And then finally, we opened up these doorways so that we can have a more interesting entranceway.
It really opens it up.
It does.
Linda, what about this room? How do you use this?
This is traditionally the second parlor, but we use it as a little study and TV room.
I love the red. It really brings it alive.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun.
Right. And what do you have to do here?
Basically, we added this opening here so we could get a much bigger impression of the staircase.
Boy, look at how great it is. You got all this opening underneath.
Some great detail. Added some wainscoting through here.
It just goes on and on, though, this house.
Well, these houses are long and narrow, and
Yeah.
obviously you have to have a bathroom, and we
Yeah.
completely rebuilt this one.
Boy, you've done beautifully with it. Nice big shower. I love the bowl.
I made that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. You know, this is the rage nowadays. Everybody wants
It
these.
was a little experiment.
Well, it came out pretty good.
Thanks.
Come on through. I'll show you more of my wife's talents here. She's a muralist.
Boy, there's not a wall that doesn't get painted, huh?
Nope, everything
Beautiful.
floors, ceilings.
And I love this. What's the bird?
It's a flycatcher, but I added a little comb for
A little
interest.
artist license?
Yeah.
Well, beautiful.
Come through into the kitchen.
Great. Boy, it's amazing that you guys have been here only a year and a half or 2 years. It's just,
Well,
You've been
Rich,
working hard.
It's day and night, constant. But we completely renovated the kitchen, took everything out, rebuilt it, and Linda did the tile work here.
great. Well, I came to solve a problem. Where's the patient?
Well, come on, we'll show you.
Thanks.
Okay, Richard, just watch your head on this, though.
Okay. Well, you've certainly got the place cleaned up and organized for me. Thank you.
Oh, it's nice and dry, and here's our problem. The boiler has a rust issue here. It's taken about 6 months to develop this, but I had a couple of opinions. Didn't like what they told me, so I figured I'd email you, and you're here.
We see this a lot. Frankly, Chris, you have a bad case of electrolysis.
Oh, boy, is that dangerous?
Well, it can be if this thing continued to rot.
Right.
This is a steel pipe coming out of the boiler, and this is copper. They're dissimilar metals. If we have the presence of even the slightest amount of electricity,
Yeah, there's something
we'll
there.
have oxidation where the two metals meet, and that's what's happening right here.
Can we do something about this?
Yeah, what I brought is a thing called a dielectric union. And this side is where we'll sweat the copper connection. But you'll notice this collar around here so that two metals will not touch. There's a rubber gasket in the middle, and when those come together, we've really broken the electrical current coming through.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, so the first incision is to cut the copper pipe. We've already put the hose on this and drained water down. We might hear a little bit of vacuum as we cut this.
That's a nice gadget.
Yeah, you could cut this with a hacksaw too. There's a little vacuum being broken.
I hear that.
Hopefully you put that hose in the drain.
It's on the drain. That's what's nice about working in basements.
Okay, so there's the first cut right there.
Okay. You need me to hold anything?
No, I think that'll...
All right.
Now, the next step is to find out where we can build onto. Whether or not this pipe is worth keeping. We're going to try to back this off of this.
Got it. Linda, come stand here. Rich, do you mind if Linda takes a photograph of us here?
Sure.
They'll never believe I have the great Trethewey in my basement.
Yeah, right. This is my good side. Chris, pass me that pipe, would you?
Yep.
A little persuasion on the end of this wrench.
Coming right over.
This way. Okay, so now I want to try and back this old union off. And I might scream for some help from you. Let me try and see how lucky we get.
It's getting a grip.
Okay.
All right, it's in there good. Rich, just sing out if I can help.
You can actually come in here. Grab one hand on this wrench and pull towards you and push on the pipe a little bit. Yeah, mostly pulling on the top wrench. There we go. You got it. Great. Okay. Now we get rid of this piece completely. Thank you. Don't push up too hard. All right, a little Teflon tape to make a tight thread seal.
Rich, how much is enough on a tape like that?
Well, you'll know, but probably 3 or 4 times around at least. All right, we put this on. Righty-tighty.
Mm-hmm.
And snug it up. We'll take pliers first and then the wrench.
Rich, you want this?
That's with the coupling.
Yep.
And now we just need to measure the last piece. And that looks about 2.5 inches. All right, just snug it up a little bit. Be careful. Not too fast, not too tight, like you don't want to take it out around. When you get near the end, catch it so it doesn't fall and go all over the place. There you go. Great.
All right, you want to grab it?
Yeah, go. All right, so now I want you to clean it. There's some emery cloth called Scratch.
Okay.
And do that, and be careful not to cut your hand as you're holding it in your hand, too.
All right.
Clean it up really good.
Is that good enough?
No.
You want the other side too? Now what about if I touch it? Does that matter?
No, it's okay. You seem pretty clean.
How's that look?
Good. That's inspection.
Thank
Now
you.
we're going to flux it. I'll do that.
What is this stuff anyway?
Well, this further cleans the copper and allows the solder to bond to it. I'll stick that in right there. And I have one more to do right there.
It's beautiful.
And now it's time to solder. First, I want you to touch right here with the flame.
Now, how do you know how much solder to put in?
You know, it'll run right around towards the flame, and it'll start to run downwards. Now move it around over here, the heat a little bit over there. Okay, you can feel it running now. A little more. Heat away, please. Now we'll let that cool, and then we'll put the new gasket back in and fill it up again. And now I bring the water back on. This one, and
There she goes.
just watch it for me.
And nothing coming out in your foot.
So, we have a cure for your
Fantastic.
electrolysis.
Okay.
All right, that didn't take too long.
Well, Rich, we're going to miss you.
Thank you
so much for coming in.
Well, it was a
Thank you,
pleasure.
thank
You were a
you,
great
thank
helper.
you.
It was my pleasure. You know, I'm this close. You think there's any seats left for the game today?
You know, I know it's sold out, but you're very welcome to watch the telly here.
I'm this close. I'm going to see if I can get a bleacher seat.
Okay,
Thanks so
don't
much.
blame.
Bye-bye.
Safe trip home.
What a great neighborhood down there in Pittsburgh, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful, Steve. I love it when these people bring these old houses back to life.
Does your heart good?
It sure does.
What are you working on?
I'm working on a letter from Tina, lives in Lansing, Michigan. She writes, I own a caulking gun, and I know how important caulking is to keeping your house weathertight. But when they sell you a gun, they don't give you any instructions on how to use it. Do you have any suggestions?
What do you have to say to Tina?
Well, I say, hopefully, Tina, you bought a good quality gun.
And a good gun's only, what, $8, $9?
Yeah, not a big deal, Steve.
What do you look for in a good gun?
This gun has a ratcheting system that when you release the trigger, the pressure on the caulking stops. Thus, the flow stops instantaneously, and it won't drip.
That's great. Now, what about preparing the tube itself?
The tube. I like to cut the tube about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch from the end, holding my knife at about a 45-degree angle. I want them a nice, smooth cut.
Smooth is the key.
Right. Now, this gun also has a probe on the end that when I cut, after I cut the tube, push it in the end, and some caulking has a seal there. You want to break that seal. Now, putting the tube in the gun is important. The long part of the point goes up to the top of the gun.
So the angle's like this.
Right, and here's the center of the gun. See the relationship with the trigger and everything?
Why is that important?
Well, you'll see right here. When I hold the tip on the trim, the higher up I hold the gun, the tighter the tip or the space.
Right.
The smaller the bead. When I drop it down, the bigger the bead, the bigger the space.
So that's like your valve.
That's the valve. Now, squeeze the trigger
Start
and
in the
move
corner.
it nice and evenly.
Oh, I see.
See? Now
Tip
drop
it
the
up.
gun. Yeah, now drop
That's
it and
tight.
you'll get a fat bead.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Really, really fat there.
Yeah. You don't want that.
All right. So you've run, what, 10,000 tubes of caulk in your career?
I've actually lost count, Steve. Run a nice bead like that. Now, if I want to true that up, or smooth it up, a wet fingertip
Yeah.
goes right along the caulk, makes that line nice and smooth.
All right. Excellent tips. And Tina, thank you for the question. So remember, folks, any issues in dealing with your old house, whether it's 2 weeks old or 200 years old, send them in. So until next time, I'm Steve Thomas
I'm Tom Silva.
for Ask This Old House.
Good tip, Tom.
Email your questions to askthisoldhouse@pbs.org or write to us at Ask This Old House, care of This Old House Magazine, 1185 Avenue of the Americas, New York, New York, 10036. We look forward to hearing from you.